So, no Danny today, just me and y'all questions. So, for those who are new here, since I'm getting more followers due to the frequency in uploading, what I do every Monday, well, Sunday really, I throw up on Sundays a question. Either you guys can ask me questions or I put out a question and then I read them out here on Mondays. So, if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram. Oh, that's it. But anyway, let's get right into these questions. First one by 5-star Gent Services. Do you think it's better to work in a shop first or start on your own? Depends on what you mean by first. Personally, I think it's probably better you start on your own to prove to both yourself and whoever's gonna really employ you in the future that you're serious about it. If you just go into a shop, you know, multiple things can distract you from why you started. So I think having your own beginning really can ground you mentally. That's my opinion. Next, we got Nico _ Messina0. What are some tips for giving a straight hairline? Few tips off the top of my head. It's the standard start in the middle and then allow that to guide you. Start in the middle and go to the highest rising side of the hairline, nipping at it, just making that look presentable, and then push up the other side to wherever it's equal. That way you don't have to be confused. If you start on the lower side, it could confuse you. Next, Born Period Gold. What more ways can you add value to your audience subscribers? That's a very interesting question because that's something I've been personally, asking myself over and over. But one major thing is to turn whatever you are doing into a conversation. Instead of considering your work as, which I think a lot of people do, standing on stage and presenting your idea and really lecturing to the masses. Because too often that's, I guess, what big name influencers do. But I think the ones I admire, the ones I think are having the most success, and the one that's most fulfilling is when you turn whatever you're doing on social media into a conversation. So like right now, I'm really talking with you guys instead of like, I don't know, teaching or showing you the way or showing you the path. I mean, sure, I may be ahead of some of you guys, but I can also learn from some of you guys as well. There's more purpose in that instead of thinking you have all the answers and then at some point you don't know something. So next, James D.01. I want to start cutting at home until I start my course, but am a bit nervous to start. Opinion. We had something like this before in the last episode. I'd say just start. The people who made the most progress in anything are the ones who are doing it. You gotta execute. I don't know if there's anything I can really say to make you start. I don't know why you're not starting. Fear is something that you need to learn to adjust to, because nervousness, fear, those are emotions you're going to see. It's how do you react to those that are gonna make you successful. Normal sucks. What made you choose the shop you're at? See, that's a loaded question, and I think a whole video would be dope in giving this, but many of you guys don't know because I didn't really put in the videos that I went through a good 4 or 5 shops when I was scouting, because before, if you know in my earlier videos, I really didn't want to go into a shop. I wanted to stay in my house, build from there. Part of my goal was to service the community. I wasn't doing that effectively in the basement of my house. People can't walk past my house and be like, oh, that's the barber stable. It's really packed. I learned the same thing at school when I was in my dorm room. I was just cutting hair. I wanted to stay in there, but I then learned that it's probably best I go into a stairwell where you get some walk-in traffic, and you can service the community better if you go to the community. That's the general answer, but stay tuned for a video fully going in that. Man.y1, what's the best liners in your opinion? Right now, I'm giving it to the bevel blade easily because any other trimmer either gives you problems or all machines are gonna give you problems, but this one I had the least problems with outside of the blade, which I need to talk to them about. But I think it does the best work. It's the most powerful, it's the most precise, and its ergonomics is insane. It's just a really good trimmer for me. Manny Period 1 has another one. How do you feel about the magic clips? Y'all know how I feel about the magic clips. Magic. Ruben Balger. Who did you get inspired by to start cutting hair? To start cutting hair, I have a whole video on this, how to become a barber, my story. I saw it in the dorm when I was in high school. I went to a boarding school, saw it in the dorm, started like that. But what really inspired me to do it professionally, I think first person that comes to mind is Vic the Barber. Easily probably one of my biggest influences overall. I think he really killed the game and he revolutionized a lot of things that we consider normal today. Biggs the Barber. How do you enjoy your schooling for cosmetology? I thought it was dope. Honestly, it's difficult for me to say for you guys where you should go because I feel the particular school I went to was very family oriented. We really cared about the future of the students. It was and I personally had some really good people who impacted me, whether it be faculty, students, and even administration. Got some real cool people over there. So it's weird for me because I don't think places make people. The people make the places. So for me, and that includes you going into it. So for me, I already had barbering. What I could do, I was pretty automated at doing. So I could focus on the new skills. Now, I imagine myself being new and not knowing anything. It probably would have had a little more difficult of a time, but I was able to enjoy myself given the fact that I had done very well in certain areas already. So keep those things in mind because my opinion is laden with that. What do you take photos with? Lighting, camera, editor. I take photos with what I'm using right now, my Canon 70D, and typically what you see on Instagram, I use a 50mm 1.8. Lighting, it's pretty much natural. If you see my red background, I'm using like LED panels. I'll put links in the description below so you know exactly. Krista asks, tips for beginner barbers. That's a very broad question, so I guess only give you a very broad answer. What first comes to mind for me is fall in love with what you're doing. Like focus on the skills, the little intricate skills that amass to great work, rather than looking at great work and being, I guess, discouraged by it. Ultimately, you learn the skills so that you can express yourself. I look at it like English. Right now, you've learned how to use words. You learn words so you can effectively express yourself. And it's the same exact way you need to look at barbering. You learn scissoring, fading, cutting, all these intricate little things so that ultimately you can express yourself, not anybody else. That's a greater calling than trying to be somebody else. Said the Barber, when are we linking up to do the Said the Barber and Barber's Table vlog? LOL. Bro, I did not know that was a thing, so you let me know. Christian Nunez, how are you? I'm doing good. Appreciate it. Thanks for the question. I assume you're talking about my illness. I literally just did some cooking, and I'm gonna add it into the vlog sometimes now, where I'm working out, eating clean, and these doctors are really getting on my nerves. Like honestly, they're not really doing much. Well, let me not say that. They've done some great work, but they're not focused on curing. What I have is an autoimmune disease. It's called relapsing polychondritis. Right now, they're not focused on curing that. They're more focused on keeping it, keep me treated so nothing crazy happens, keep me away from a flare, or making sure I don't die, or none of it is to try and get me back to optimum health. And that's what I want, because right now I can't play basketball due to what I would consider medicinally induced vertigo. But that's neither here nor there. Don't want to drag you guys down with that, because this illness I think has really inspired me to do more, focus on my health, focus on others. So yeah, though it sucks, that's how I'm doing. Hype_beast_OVO, what is currently the hardest part about barbering for you? I mean, I'm guessing you're talking about barbering in the technical sense, not in the big picture sense. In the technical sense, I guess strategically using shears to style the top, because cutting the top evenly is definitely it's easy. You can do that, making sure everything's straight, right? But it's when you want effectively making different heights or adding texture and doing that effectively and efficiently. I think that's what I want to do. Most everything else all I can think of right now is pretty much fine, but that's the technical side. But the big picture side, my goal overall has been to revolutionize wherever I'm in, like master what's at hand and then add my little spice to it. That's what I really want to push on here, you know what I'm saying? Just like people who don't focus too much on how to become the exact replica of whatever's happened, because we see too much of that, and it's weird because all you see is a bunch of copies. If you're not careful, you can feel like you're accomplishing something when you're minimizing yourself in order to please multiple people for some reason. But overall, that's my long answer, I guess. __infinite, I believe, __. Do you read? If so, what kind of books, and which have given you the best applicable knowledge? Right now, I think my favorite books to read are one's on money, like economics. I'm reading a book called Basic Economics right now by Thomas Sowell. Another one is like personal development, self-help is really, those two are the top ones, money and personal development. And when it comes to personal development and psychology, I guess that's another form of personal development, but Mindset by Carol Dweck, Mastery by Robert Greene. Oh, a money book, which is it's famous in the barbering industry, is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And am I missing one that I'm currently reading? Oh, Habit by Charles Duhigg. Yeah, hopefully that helps some of you guys, to those who read, because I know it took me a long time to really get interested in reading, but those are really the staples for me right now. Thomas Mark 472, what clippers are better, Anders or Wall? It's interesting because you ask me what clippers are better, then ask me about two full companies. I couldn't really answer that straight, but I'll give you like what types of clippers I think each one is winning in. When it comes to adjustable cordless clippers, I'm giving it to Wall. Right now, they're not just thinking each system, they're thinking ecosystem. So say for instance, I have 3 clippers, right? I have a Magic Clip, I have a Senior, I have a 1910, right? All these clippers can hang up on the hook and all of them have the same charge. So it's like they're thinking of the barber's station. Like Wall is really dominant in the adjustable cordless clipper area. When it comes to detachable clippers, Andis just dropped the ZR2, I think BGRC, the BGR Plus, like they just have a long array of those. They're really good at that segment. Comes to trimmers, I think Andis has more than Wall. They have the Andis Slimline Pro LIs, the Pros, the Plus, the cordless Andis T outliner. They just have, like, when I look at each company, it seems like Andis has more experience in successful trimmers and cordless. Wall just came out with the retro T-cuts, which is decent. But before that, they tried to turn the detailers cordless, and that was a fail. And they had like a little adjustable arm on it, which doesn't work. So why lie? You know what I mean? When it comes to shavers, Andis is winning as well. To me, they've successfully solved the problem of the foil cutting problem, or that's all I can really think of right now. Hopefully that helps people's ideas, but I can't really compare full companies. You know, they gotta continue to prove themselves every product. So what's the key to improving your barber skills? I think the key to improving your barber skills is never, like I said in one of the other videos as well, is never to feel like you have answers and constantly ask questions. Genuinely try and find the answers to those questions, and I think you'll be fine. It's like, of course, execute, keep practicing, you know, ask questions, but make sure those questions lead to action. Don't be, a lot of things that people get trapped into is asking questions to sound like they're smart, ask questions to sound like they're trying to do something, rather than genuinely having a question and wanting the answer to it, then going to execute on that. Another thing is, once you get the answer to that question, even go further for more questions with being even more eager, you know, because the more answers to questions we get, the more egotistical we get. We look around and we see that people don't have the same answers as we do. We may have more, and that is when you get stagnant, because the person who continues to ask questions and they don't get affected or emotionally invested in the fact that they have more answers than others, you're gonna continue to grow, because the only person you're facing is yourself. Make sure you're better than yesterday. Getting better at barbering is the same as getting better at anything. It's a mental game. Emotionally, you have to stay grounded and focus on success. Focus on the next part of whatever. Yeah, hopefully that helps. How do I start learning to do designs? I've been interested in learning to do designs. I think the best way to start is look at designs you like online and just draw them on paper. And then you get to see where you mess up, see where you suck, and all that different things, stuff like that. Okay, so to learn anything, I think you need to understand what the essence of what it is, like the essence of what it is, and then break it down into components. If you really think of a design, and any design on somebody's head, it's literally just a drawing. So if it's just a drawing, it's a very simple drawing at that, right? Lines and curves. It's really just lines and curves. Lines and curves, and then you add thickness to it, right? So if that's the literal essence of it, then why not just look at how artists draw surrealism or realism or pointism? Everything is about referencing. This straight line in reference to that curve in reference to that. Nothing lives in a bubble, so understand how things are broken down in art, and then come back to designs. You know, how does anybody get better at art? How do you improve at art? How do you improve at drawing? So a specific execution to that would be just to try it out. Just try it, just do it. Watch other people do it and continue trying, watching, and that'll get you. But that's the end of today's episode. Thanks for watching. It was great having you guys here. Thanks for seeing this episode of The Barber's Journey. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, please drop a comment down below. Appreciate you guys. See you in the next episode.